Hallo, hallo. Eventjes kijken hoor. Hallo luisteraars. Nee, kijkers. Nou, jullie luisteren ook, tenzij je doof bent. Kan je misschien liplezen. Ik zit thuis. Ik zit nu op mijn laptop te streamen, omdat mijn desktop geen goede wifi heeft. Ik ga Ancient Aliens kijken, zoals de titel zegt. Een fucking programma, een serie zelfs, op History Channel. Ik vind het zo geweldig. Ik ga jullie zo neerzetten als je mee kan kijken. Moet ik even de kop van mij niet zien. Even kijken hoor. Dit is heel amateuristisch allemaal, maar nou, het zie je ook gelijk een beetje. Wacht. Ik zit maar even dichterbij. Wat gebeurt er nou? De breker, schrijf iets. Ik weet niet wat er gebeurt. Of ik nog live ben. Oh, wacht. Ik heb blijkbaar iets aangeraakt of zo. Ander weet ik ook. Hè. Die ketting met 17 kralen die bungelde in Haarlem voor mijn ogen toen ik bukte om een kaart op te pakken. En op die kaart stond, op de autonummerbord, waar ik die kaart die ik uit mijn hand had laten vallen oppakte. Ik stond dus zo, bungelde de ketting voor mijn neus, hè, Iri, met 17 kralen. En op het nummerbord stond 17 TGHP. Dat heb jij misschien wel gedaan, hè, Iri? Met je kattenwijsheid, dat je zei van, hou hoop, Mariesje, hou hoop. Je hebt Wayne Dyer weliswaar niet zien tevoorschijn komen in 2015 was het alweer. Toen dacht ik dat ik Elia was en dat ik doden zou op kunnen roepen. Ja, hier, dat dacht ik toen. Ja, nu ook even op beeld. Hey. Nou, je hebt net gegeten. Was leuk dat Bianca jouw roomsoes voor je verjaardag. Dat was leuk van Bianca. Kreeg je een slagroomsoesje. Gewoon een slagroom, hè? Vond je lekker, hè? Ja. Dat was een leuk verjaardagscadeautje van Bianca. Oh. Wat ging je nou doen? Koffie zetten. Nee, doe maar thee, Maurice. 12 uur geweest. Zeldertje. Jullie hebben net gegeten. Ja, ik heb wel eens verteld waarom ik soms het idee heb dat mijn katjes veel eten. Omdat zij informatie doorsturen. De kattenwijsheid uit Egypte, zeg maar, sturen ze door naar de katteneigenaren. En dat kost energie en dat wordt misschien wel door voedselvertering, voedselvertering, tyfus, overgebracht of zo. En dat ze daarom steeds honger hebben als ik zoveel zit na te denken. Ja, zegt Paul de Leeuw, Lion King. Ja, ik ga hem zo aanzetten. Ik weet niet of ik dat ding moet pauzeren. Kijk, ja. Stream beëindigen, bewerken. Nee. Nou, we bouwen de spanning op. Daar kan nog wel het eerste stukje laten zien. Ik dacht, dat wil ik gewoon vereeuwigen. 1,053. Watersnoodramp. Was er geen watersnood, het was wateroverlast. Watersnoodramp, ik snap het niet. Nood aan de man. Wijsheid in de kan? Nee, ik weet niet.
Mysterious ancient symbol with connections to the heavens.
We see this unusual keyhole shape as decoration for these gods.
It appears appears in mystic texts.
The secret seal of Solomon has that interesting shape.
It was incorporated in sacred architecture.
If
Zo
you look
kikker
at
dit.
this from
Hij zegt zo gas.
it's this keyhole shape, and that to me is fascinating.
And to me it's fascinating.
And it exists all over the planet.
Wauw, wauw, wauw.
There are so many cultures.
Nou komt Erik van Deliken nu daar. Die is ook zo
Is
goed.
there some commonality to all of this?
Could this symbol represent a connection to beings that came to Earth thousands of years ago?
Thousands of years ago.
We were visited by beings from outer space, and they left clues on this planet Earth.
Clues on this planet Earth. Of course they did.
This keyhole shape.
Buitenaardse boodschap in die keyhole shape.
In the universe. Beyond it is the promise of truth. It demands we question everything we have ever been taught. The evidence is all around us. The future is right before our eyes. We are not alone. We have never been alone. Waterford, Virginia, 2013. Psychonia Institute researcher George Hans was combing through images of Mars when something caught his eye. A large formation protruded from the surface of the planet that displayed extraordinary symmetry. He was struck by the fact that there were no other large geographical features around it, and it had the distinct shape of a keyhole.
When you initially look at it, it looks like something that someone made. So when scientists are looking for signs of activity on another planet,
Ik zie er
they're
wel het
looking
gezicht
for
in.
structural symmetry, determining if this is possibly just something nature made or something that humans or extraterrestrials had handled.
Mooie bestelaar.
What we're seeing on Mars could be evidence of intelligent design by some unknown extraterrestrial culture.
The Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter took
Hij is goed ook.
amazing detailed maps of pretty much the whole surface of Mars. And there are some anomalous pictures. It's very much worth humanity's while to travel there and find out for sure, are these artificial or not?
Wil je
Could it
kijken,
be
Lili?
that this strangely symmetrical formation on Mars is really an artificial structure built by an extraterrestrial race?
Yes, of course it's
For
possible.
ancient astronaut theorists, what makes this image even more intriguing is the fact that strikingly similar man-made structures exist here on Earth. Osaka, Japan. Today, this bustling metropolis is famous as one of Japan's cultural centers of food, fashion, and finance. But in its southern suburb of Sakai lies an ancient and mysterious monument, a megalithic tomb called the Daisen Kofu.
Daisen Kofun.
It rises up 35 feet above the surrounding area and is 1,600 feet
Whoa.
and 980 feet wide, and it's encircled by 3 moats, making the entire edifice cover a space of 5 million square feet.
You can only really appreciate what it represents by going up into the air.
Is er de mensen iets gemaakt?
Because you then see that it's an enormous keyhole shape.
The Daisen Kofun is merely the largest of over 160,000 kofuns that are scattered around Japan.
Met al de
There
mensen
are
natuurlijk.
hundreds of these tombs built between around 300
Oh, yeah.
AD to around 600 AD, all over Japan. So what were these? Were these really just tombs built for emperors and kings, or were they something else altogether? The keyhole shape can only be seen from the air. And we're told that the ancient Japanese did not have a means of getting into the sky to appreciate this shape. So there's a great mystery here about why the keyhole shape.
Some researchers suggest that the purpose of the keyhole shape can be traced back to the first kofun ever built.
The first of these tombs is associated with the first historical Japanese emperor, Emperor Sujin, whose
Sujin.
record in the book of ancient mythology, the Kojiki,
Kojiki.
actually
That's
also
absolutely
plays an
there.
important part.
According to the story in the Kijken, a young woman becomes impregnated by a powerful god who comes to her room through a keyhole. She then gives birth to semi-divine children. Another story from the same text tells that the Japanese royal family are all descendants of Amaterasu, who came from the celestial plane.
Wauw, dat is helemaal geweldig.
So, what's the deal here?
So
Why do we have these stories of someone coming from the sky? They also describe them as having come down from their celestial palace, which is called Takamagahara. It's right there.
Yeah.
Our ancestors did not have words for extraterrestrials or aliens or any other creature coming from the planet because it didn't exist at the time.
Wow,
so you've got to wonder if these key...
Even nog een keer luisteren, zo nog een beetje afgeleid. Zijn er geen woorden voor die mensen uit de hemel kwamen? Want de hemel was gewoon aarde toen. Zo. 1101.
A young woman becomes impregnated by a powerful god who comes to her room through a keyhole. She then gives birth to semi-divine children. Another story from the same text tells that the Japanese royal family are all descendants of Amaterasu, who came from the celestial plane.
Amaterasu.
So, what's the deal here? Why do we have these stories of someone coming from the sky? They also describe them as having come down from their celestial palace, which is called Takamagahara. It's right there.
Yes.
Our ancestors did not have words for extraterrestrials or aliens or any other creature coming from the planet because it didn't exist at the time. So you've got to wonder if these keyhole-shaped kofun aren't something that were actually designed by extraterrestrials. There's something about that shape. It has meaning. Are these sites signaling somebody who is apparently in the sky?
Signaling zelfs.
Is it possible that the design of the Japanese kofuns was inspired by contact with otherworldly visitors? As far as ancient astronaut theorists are concerned, this symbol may offer an important clue about alien intervention in Earth's distant past. And as further evidence of its significance, they point to much more recently discovered keyhole-shaped structures that were also made to be seen from above. Khaybar, Saudi Arabia, May 2017. An archaeological team conducting an aerial survey of the Saudi Arabian desert made an extraordinary discovery: a series of mysterious stone structures. Among them are 19 formations in the shape of keyholes, formed by walls roughly 3 feet high.
These were keyhole-shaped kind of enclosures built of quite large stones and earth, and there were hundreds of them across the landscape. And they're thought to be thousands of years old, but no one knows who built them, no one knows why they were there, but they have this sacred symbol of the keyhole as the design. So the keyhole shape is a combination of the triangle and the circle, and the circle is often a representation of the sun and the moon and other heavenly objects, whereas the triangle shape is really the pyramid shape, and that is a representation of the earth. So it really could be a representation linking heaven and earth.
Yes, linking heaven and earth. Het hopelijk. 2033 waarschijnlijk.
Could it be that they are somehow related to the keyhole-shaped kofuns that were built in Japan thousands of years later? Curiously, a keyhole design can be found at ancient sites belonging to numerous different cultures and all over the world. This shape is present in the Incan ruins of Moray in Peru, the Temple of the Foliated Cross in Palenque, Mexico, the Hopi Kivas in the American Southwest, and the 10,000-year-old burial mounds in Tassili Nanjir, Algeria.
Why is it that there are so many cultures that use the keyhole shape around the world? Is there some commonality to all of this, even though they are thousands of miles apart? I would say that we have to look towards human consciousness and the commonality of symbols.
Since ancient times, there have been keys and locks. The keyhole is what can unlock a portal to another place, an unseen place. So it has a ritual and symbolic significance. We are aware that there are things we do not know, that there are energies that affect human life and all other life that we are still learning, just barely beginning to grasp. So the keyhole image symbolically represents the possibility that such gateways can be opened.
Yes!
Could the keyhole symbol carry a profound message for humanity?
Of course.
Was this shape repeated at ancient sites across the globe so that future generations would notice it and attempt to understand it? Perhaps further clues can be found by examining the connection between the keyhole shape and the ancient gods.
Yes. Nice.
Coming up,
Kansu has a pendant with a keyhole on it. This represents the ability to open unseen worlds.
To me, that is a representation of something technological.
Yes. Je houdt echt aan zijn lip als hij praat. Geweldig.
Oh, wow. It just goes to show how ahead of their time the ancient Romans really were.
This is something that the Egyptians achieved using techniques that are unknown to us. Ancient technology is incredible.
The sheer scale of their ambition just seems to be impossible.
Ancient Impossible. Vanaf woensdag 22 juni om 10:05. Nieuw en exclusief op History Channel.
Echt een interessant kanaal is dit. Welke ook wel een aanrader is Vertonio. Jezus,
Gebruik
Mina.
regelmatig Diesel Turbo. Zijn ultra geconcentreerde formule
Lekker
vergroot
fris reclame, hè?
verstopping de ophoping van vuilnis.
Halleluja. Helemaal nauwkeurig ernaar kijken naar
Weet jij
die
dat veel tandartsen elke
plug
dag
haar.
om hun tanden te verzorgen?
lekker tussen je brood doen van je vriend en dan als grapje.
Tandpasta. Het revitaliseert je tandvlees en remineraliseert
Nou.
het tandglazuur.
Jongens,
Oral-B, nummer 1 meest gebruikte tandpasta-merk door tandartsen zelf in
we gaan
Nederland.
het eruit uitzetten. Evenrust. Maar goed, sleutelgat dus een cirkel en een piramide inderdaad. Of een cirkel en een driehoek. Dus iedere ster en piramides. Ja, natuurlijk zit daar een verbinding tussen. Het zit... Wat een reclame zo. Een vieze ger uit die wasmachine. Nou, die gaan we toch nog even kijken of even met geluid erbij. Dan moet ik even horen wat erbij reageert. Als de...
Of het lekker laten groeien. Nieuwe Venus voor huid en schaamhaar.
Voor huid en schaamhaar. Nou, nee, dat al.
Ruik je dat?
Wow!
Dat bedoel ik. Ja, dat is niet echt als je thuis komt.
Die vieze geur komt van al dat stilstaand water.
Oh.
Je kunt voortaan beter Calgon 3-in-1 gebruiken. 1 dosis bij elke wasbeurt voorkomt resten die vieze geuren creëren. Wasmachinefabrikanten raden het niet voor niets aan.
Het kan gewoon. Hoi! Nee, laat dat maar even gaan.
De nieuwe fillable eau de parfum.
Ik had het net over Area 51. Tenminste, ik had iets ingesproken bij La Dame Fortune. Daar ga ik morgen heen, of vandaag zit ik ondertussen. Ik had het over Area 51 met haar, omdat ik ook 51 ben en ik de gedachte had dat ik uit Area 51 kwam. Dat ze mij gewoon hebben geïnjecteerd bij mijn moeder in een pokkenvaccin.
Sleutel tot zijn eerste gerecht.
Nee, maar dat is raar natuurlijk. Waar begon ik er dan ook over? Oh ja, Area 51. En toen ging ik even op zoek in een app waar heel veel podcasts in zitten. En toen ging ik naar comedy en toen kwam ik bij grafspraak. Dus ik dacht, misschien wel leuk. En toen zag ik daar Area 51, dat was de 51e aflevering. Dus een hele bizarre synchronisatie. Over een locatie, met informatie, met infiltratie. Kom ik die tegen? De speak remixers die overwegen of ze hun wijsheid nu al door zullen geven, want dan gaat de mensheid wat liever. Hip-hop loopt voor, want ze hebben zoveel kennis. Daarom schoppen ze tegenwoordig niet zoveel tennis. Ja, vrede overal. Maar eerst maar even zien dat alle warriors in het geval van massahypnose de goede keuze hebben gekozen. De informatie komt uit dozen. De computers heten, we zullen het niet vergeten. Waarom zijn er zoveel sleutelgaten? In alle maten op aarde aanwezig. Dat is iets wat me bezighoudt. Het vervolg komt zo. Ik heb helemaal geen beat, maar ik heb ook een gekke flow. Ik zit te kijken naar reclame die steeds gekker wordt in mijn ogen. Maar ja, wat is dat voor vermogen? Neurofan. Dan ga ik even ontleden. Ik zie lichtblauwe engelen. Eigenlijk alle vrouwen zijn lichtblauwe engelen. En een van de eerste dingen die gaat godverdomme gebeuren, is dat alle vrouwen, godverdomme, als de tovenarij ter sprake komt, alle vrouwen gaan gewoon zichzelf zo goed kunnen verdedigen. En ook als er maar iemand een vinger wil aanraken aan een vrouw die dat niet waardeert of accepteert of wil hebben, misschien eerst een kleine waarschuwing, een kleine stroomstoot. En als ze dan toch aandringen, godverdorie, ik zit mijn vloeken in te houden omdat Jezus niet laag is om mij in te houden. En daar komt gelukkig ook Iri. Maar nee, dat is een van de eerste dingen die moet gebeuren. Dat vrouwen met rust gelaten worden. Mannen ook trouwens.
Egypt, January 2018. Archaeologists digging in this city, located in the heart of the Nile River Delta, uncovered the remains of an ancient settlement. Among the fragments of statues they discovered were pieces of an amulet known as a manat.
The manat is a very important amulet for ancient Egypt. So the manat was made by a series of lines of beads with counterbalance or in form of a keyhole. In this way, could use as a necklace with the beads in front and counterbalance in the back.
In Egyptian mythology, the manat is often worn by the god Khonsu.
Khonsu is mainly a god
Khonsu, de god van de maan en de genezing. Khonsu.
The protector who can
Man.
ward
Nou, de geest zeg je aangefijn, zeg hij.
evil forces.
Khonsu is seen as a wandering god. This reflects how the moon wanders through the heavens. He has a pendant with a keyhole on it. This represents the gatekeeping function of this particular divinity, the ability to open unseen worlds.
He taught many of the different sciences to the people. He was also related to technology. So this is a suggestion that he may have been involved in some of the construction of the sites there in ancient Egypt.
Paintings often depict the gods giving the manat to members of Egyptian nobility. While mainstream historians contend the amulet was simply a piece of jewelry, ancient astronaut theorists suspect it was something more profound.
If you look at some of the earliest representations of the manat, rays are jumping out into 4 different heads that are on sticks.
Yes.
What is going on?
Yes.
That is a representation of something technological that our ancestors witnessed, but they couldn't quite figure out yet what they were looking at.
Wow.
Curiously, Khonsu isn't the only lunar deity or
Hoe jij dat vertelt, dat is zo fantastisch. Fantastisch.
Seen
2242.
He taught many of the different sciences to the people. He was also related to technology. So this is a suggestion that he may have been involved in some of the construction of the sites there in ancient Egypt.
Paintings often depict the gods giving them a nut to members of Egyptian nobility. While mainstream historians contend the amulet was simply a piece of jewellery, ancient astronaut theorists suspect it was something more profound.
If you look at some of the earliest representations of the
Yeah,
Manat,
wat hij net
the
had.
rays are jumping out into 4 different heads that are on sticks.
Heads that are on
What is
sticks.
going on? To
What's
me,
going on?
That is a representation of something technological that our ancestors witnessed, but they couldn't quite figure out yet what they were looking at.
Wow, wow,
Curiously,
wow.
Khonsu isn't the only lunar deity or moon god symbolized by a keyhole shape.
We also had Tanit, the Canaanite or Phoenician goddess, who again, her symbol was that of the keyhole shape, and she was connected with travel. She was also connected with machinery. So again, there could be connections here between these ancient cultures and this symbol.
Do depictions of Khonsu and Tanit point to the keyhole shape representing some type of technological device? And could it be more than mere coincidence that both have a connection to the moon? Ancient astronaut theorists believe further clues can be found on the Italian island of Sardinia. Today, this picturesque island in the Mediterranean is famous for its crystalline waters, white sandy beaches, and luxurious resorts. But thousands of years ago, Sardinia was home to one of the most mysterious civilizations in the ancient world, the Nuraghe.
The Nuragic culture of Sardinia were a Bronze Age people who occupied the island from around 1800 BC down to about 200 BC when the Romans arrived and took over the island.
There are question marks about the dating of the Nuragic civilization in Sardinia. There's so many sites there that go back way before that. There's dolmens that go back to 3,500 or 4,000 BC.
Whoa.
There's the giants' tombs, which are slightly older than the Nuragic civilization. And there's even a pyramid there, Monte Okogi, which dates back to around 3,500 to 4,000 BC. The Nuragic culture emerged really from nowhere. And so they were masters of megalithic construction. They built these amazing Nuragic towers all over the country. There are recorded over 7,000 of them.
Sardinia is arguably one of the most interesting sites in Europe, not simply because of the large stone structures there, but it's the fact that so many of them are alive to the sun, the moon, and also the stars, that we have to ask ourselves, did they have a belief that their ancestors came from the stars?
The Nuragic people left no written historical record, causing many scholars to question how they could have achieved such incredible modern prowess without having developed a writing system. In May 2018, Oak Island treasure hunter Marty Lagina invited Giorgio Tsoukalos to join him in Sardinia to investigate the mystery of the Nuraghe and offer his unique perspective.
Signor Zedda, come stai, sono Giorgio?
There, Giorgio and Marty were met by Maru, and archaeoastronomer Mauro Pepino Zedda, who showed them an archaeological site far stranger than they expected, the well of Santa Cristina.
Wow, Santa Cristina.
Wait a minute, Samantha.
Yes, prego.
These are modern, right? This is
Yes.
reproduction.
I know.
This is reproduction.
It's what people say. When they hear, they say, oh, Ivana, that's a fake. What is that? Can you imagine the world is 3,000 years
What?
old?
So honestly, these are the original stones?
Really, believe me.
Wow.
100%.
Unbelievable.
Built to last for the eternity.
Well, this
Wow, wow, wow.
You want to check with your
Inderdaad. Dat kan toch niet, joh?
Andiamo?
Godverdomme, joh. 3000 jaar oud.
Look at this.
Look at this. Even opnieuw, ik ga even mijn bek houden. Want, het is zo... humoristisch als ze dat vertellen. Spectacular. Look at this. Hello. Even mijn mondje houden.
Archaeological site far stranger than they expected. The well of Santa Cristina.
Santa Cristina.
No, wait a minute. That's
Yes, prego.
these are modern, right? This is
Yes.
reproduction. No, I mean it.
No, I know.
This is reproduction.
It's what people say when they say, "Oh, Ivana, that's a fake." What is that? Can you imagine the well is 3,000 years old?
No, honestly, these are the original stones.
Really, believe me.
Wow.
100%. That is built to last for the eternity.
Well, this is spectacular.
You want to touch with your hand the sophistication of the wall?
Yeah.
Here we go. Andiamo.
This is crazy.
Look at this. It is round. It's a perfect
A
circle.
perfect circle.
Put a piece of paper. There's no mortar used to put the stuff on. I mean,
It's amazing.
questo.
Not only is it constructed beautifully, but the foundation is below the water table. Okay, that's very hard to do. I can tell you, working on the water
Dat kan toch niet, joh?
is spectacular.
Hoe kan dat nou? Dat is fucking onmogelijk. Onder het rondwater. Perfecte cirkel. Kan een papiertje tussen.
When they say, "Oh, Ivana, that's a fake."
3000 jaar
Can
oud.
you imagine the well is 3,000 years old?
No, honestly, these are the original stones.
Really, believe me.
Wow.
100%. That is built to last for the eternity.
Well, this is spectacular.
You want to touch with your hand the sophistication of the wall?
Yeah.
Here we go. Andiamo.
This is crazy.
Look at this.
Look at this.
It's a perfect circle. You can't put a piece of paper. There's no mortar used to put the stuff.
Incredibile.
I mean, è incredibile questo.
Not only
Incredibile.
is it constructed beautifully, the foundation is below the water table. Okay, that's very hard to do. I can tell you from Oak Island, working on the water is difficult. This is spectacular.
But the incredibly precise construction of the well of Santa Cristina is not its only extraordinary feature. When archaeoastronomer Mauro Peppino Zeta began researching the ancient structures of Sardinia in search of astronomical alignments, he found that the well of Sardinia was constructed to track a very specific celestial event.
Bizar.
L'armonia col punto in cui la luna arriva al punto più alto.
La luna.
This cupola is really built to observe the moon in its highest light.
E il massimo
Its maximum
arriva ogni 18 anni e 6 mesi.
is every 18.6 years. The full moon reflects its light in the deep water over there.
18.6, 18
The
juni.
event tracked
Over
by
9
the
dagen,
well is known
weken
as
3.
a lunar standstill, a time when the moon reaches its highest point in the night sky and appears to stay there for hours before finally sinking back towards the horizon.
Wat? Ik snap er niks van.
The
Ik zeg
town
niet.
was an ancient civilization, one supposedly without mathematics
Ik heb opgeschreven taal.
multiple the structure that
Ik
precisely
bouw en
tracks
bouwen.
the
Dat
lunar
is
event
scheidsrechter.
that
Ik
would have
volg.
only occurred 2 or 3 times in a lifetime.
The question is, there was
Ik kom van hem, joh. Helemaal uit zijn dak. Dat kan toch helemaal niet, dit? Er moet toch iets buitenaards. Oh.
Massimo
Its maximum
arriva ogni 18 anni e 6 mesi.
is every 18.6 years. The full moon reflects its light in the deep water over there.
The event tracked by the well is known as a lunar standstill, a time when the moon reaches its highest point in the night sky and appears to stay there for hours before finally sinking back towards the horizon.
Wauw, dat is
But
gewoon
how was an ancient civilization, one supposedly without mathematics or a written language, able to build a structure that precisely tracks a lunar event that would have only occurred 2 or 3 times in a normal lifetime?
The question is, there was no written language. How was this planned? Because
If you look at this from above, it's this keyhole shape. And that to me is fascinating.
I have not seen anything quite like this. Okay, I'm literally wowed by this.
Clearly, someone told the local people how to place these stones into different areas because it was a connection to the celestial realm.
So you're surmising the technology was given to these people.
The engineering knowledge, because this screams mathematics.
It screams mathematics.
It's unlike anything that I've ever seen, even though the stone steps have reminded me of inside the Grand Gallery of the Great Pyramid. You can't put a dollar bill. No mortar was used. It's absolute perfection, and the hole with the oculus has a deviation of about 11 degrees. So that right there is something that's fascinating, because only with that 11-degree deviation do you actually recognize this lunar standstill. So my suggestion is that this engineering knowledge was given to the local culture at the time by the extraterrestrials.
Of course.
I'm not offering this opinion lightly. The legends and the statuary and the figurines and the objects been found here all speak of someone descending from the sky.
Yes.
Ancient moon gods in Egypt and Carthage, symbolized by a keyhole. An ancient well in Sardinia, aligned to record a rare lunar event, and also shaped like a keyhole. Could these incredible parallels provide evidence of extraterrestrial intervention on Earth? Ancient astronaut theories say yes, and suggest further evidence can be found by examining another mysterious structure in a remote village in India. Coming up.
The well of Badlapur was created without the use of any mortar.
What these books talk about is extraterrestrial gods coming to ancient India.
Wow.
New season, new mysteries. The Amityville horror haunting, the Jimmy Hoffa disappearance, the Lindbergh baby kidnapping are closer than ever to being solved. New eyewitnesses are coming forward.
I am the only person alive that knows what Jimmy Hoffa is.
The truth could finally be revealed.
There's another killer out there. Is that who's tormenting the Lutzes? And maybe it wasn't a haunting after all.
History's greatest mysteries. Elke maandag om 5:30. Nieuw op History Channel.
Hey, Morpheus. Ja. Het is een mooi programma. Heel even narcistisch kijken of ik nog steeds 0 kijkers heb of dat iemand zit mee te kijken. 0 kijkers. Dat is helemaal niet goed te zien, joh.
Verlicht rugpijn dankzij de ontstekingsmiddelen. U zorgt voor
Het is helemaal niet goed te zien, joh. Veel te licht. Kan dat nou, joh?
Magnesium doet meer dan je denkt. Het is onder meer belangrijk voor extra energie bij vermoeidheid, behoud van soepele spieren en het is goed voor je concentratie.
Met veel licht is het
Nu van
slecht.
de Vitamon, magnesium kou-tablet. Gemakkelijk in te nemen en slechts 1 tablet per dag.
Hij werd ontworpen om beter te poetsen. Uiteindelijk veranderde hij.
Ja.
Verkozen als beste huidtest bij de Consumentenbond.
Ja, ik ga maar weer stoppen. Waar zit de camera eigenlijk? Lekker onderkin zo. Deze Area 51. Gekko. De tijdreiziger uit 2121 gaat met deze verwarring. Peace, love, unity and having fun. That were lyrics of and are lyrics of KRS One.
Met 50% korting bij Kruidvat.
Kook gevarieerd. Een dagje geen vlees.